What do you see? How am I communicating? Am I open-minded or closed? Communication. It is a really complex word, and it has different meanings. One of them I just showed you. I acted in some way which can be interpreted in several ways. What I see happening these days is that people are communicating in different ways, which is not always fitting together. And I think that we can improve this a lot. But how? I started thinking about how we could improve our way of communication. And actually, at this point, I got stuck. Because I didn't know what to do, what to search for, to find some kind of answer. And then I thought about my childhood. Because in my childhood, I grew up with a lot of horses around me. And they gave me the space to learn from them, to learn their way of communicating. And it was wonderful, because I never had the experience of something else than communicating with humans. And they learned me a lot of things, which I want to talk about, because we all can learn from them. To compare the horses to the humans, think about a herd, a group of horses. When a group is standing together, they know from each other what their role is. They know their strength, but without using actually language, without talking. They use their body language, and because of that, they can complement each other. With using your role and strength, you can complement each other. And do we do that? Do we know our role in our herd? I think not, because we're changing constantly from herd to herd. Think about that. At home, you're in a herd. And when you're going to school or to work, you're also in a new herd. And also with a new role. So you have to make sure that you know your own role in every situation, and it's really difficult. So I don't expect from you that you learn this specifically, this part from the horses. But you can learn from every step. If you are aware of what you're doing, of what your role is going to be, then you're one step ahead from the others in the room.
Can you take off your vest for the sound?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Also, a thing I want to talk about is reasoning. Because we humans are reasoning a lot. When something is happening, we use our knowledge to reason the way that this thing is happening. So if you want to react on something, you're reasoning why you should react in that way. Horses don't do that. They are reacting on the moment. So when they're feeling like this is not something I like, then they react in the way that the other knows that this is something they don't like. And that's some part of listening to your inner self. This inner voice of you tells you a lot of things. But most of the time, we want to change this way of communicating because we know something about it we did before. But why? Why is that necessary to have a good conversation? I think that is something we can use. Sammy Aaron has experienced a change within her way of communicating. She had a role in her work which she actually didn't like that a lot. But then she started to listen to her inner self. She started to listen in a way that she could improve herself, to grow by listening to her inner self. And that made her job much more fun. So this is what I mean with listening to your inner self. You cannot always change the situation, but you can change it for yourself. And that's something you can learn from. Within my research, I had some thoughts and ideas. And at some point, I wasn't sure anymore, because why is my opinion actually good? Then I talked with Pauline Romanesco, who is an expert in horse behavior. And when I told about the things I just told you about a herd, a group of horses, she totally agreed with me. And I was amazed because at this point, I wasn't sure anymore. I thought, okay, this is just an experience and I see it happening, but it's probably some fake idea. No, it was actually true. And she told me that she learned from a horse psychologist, Annemarie van der Toorn, that she also agreed with my theory. And so I saw more and more people who were agreeing on my experience, observations. And it was amazing because this was making me more confident and more specific about my ideas and what to give other people, what message I should send. So what I want to achieve with today, with further moments, is that I can learn people, I can teach people about improving their way of communication. And this is not by standing in front of a horse and just standing there. Because maybe I have an experience with that and I can learn from that, but I guess some people here are not feeling that. So what I want is that you all can pick some bits and pieces out of my story to improve your own language or your own communication, your own interaction with being aware of what you're doing, and with all these different situations that you're just stepping back and learning from yourself, and then again step in the moment and use it, because then you will see that this is going to change in a positive way. So to come back to the body language, think about the moments where your role is a leader. You know that you have to be a leader in this moment and you're stepping into a room. Probably your shoulders are back, you're strong, you're standing straight. This sends something. You give some kind of energy, and this is already something which you are communicating with. And if you're also aware of this, then your body language is stronger than ever. So it helps to know your role if you also want to improve your way of body language. So communication, it is a really complex word. But this is what I learned from it. Because of the horses, they were my inspiration to know this all, to get to know all this information. So one day I would love to learn more people about this. In the moments where miscommunication is seen the most. But I don't know where that is, because there are several situations, and I call them domains. So what I want to do next is to find out where this is happening the most. And I want to define these domains to myself, to go through it, and to make my research more in-depth. So what I want to say to you is be aware and take care of your way of communication. Because do you know how you communicate? Thank you.